1 minute. Twenty seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sounds like we're ready for takeoff. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see such smiling faces here, and I can see the energy is already lifted up. I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Reverend Sheldon Gamberg, and I am the new Lyceum director as of March 5th. And we'll be headed towards our Lyceums will be in the Andrew Jackson Davis building again. And we'll be serving tea and coffee there and cookies. And so we'll have a intimate atmosphere where we'll be able to interact with each other. So we're really looking forward to that. But for now, I am here to introduce our lecturer for today. Colin Hall is our lecturer, and Colin is from England and has been working as a medium and as a spirit artist for 30 years. Aside from visiting us here in Florida, he has worked in Switzerland and Austria and the state of Maine, where I lived for quite a number of years. He greatly enjoys presenting at church services, speaking about spiritual philosophy and evidential mediumship. And Colin teaches workshops helping people to connect with spirit through art and to become more aware of their spiritual gifts. For those of you who are interested, there is more information on his website, www.colinhallart.com. So welcome. Welcome, Colin.
Well, it's a pleasure to be in the States again. It's really nice to be in Florida. And it's really a pleasure to be in this church. You know, there's a lot of history in this church. And I have a quiet voice, but you can all hear me. If you can't hear me, just put your right hand up. If you go into the bathroom, put your left hand up, then I know. I'm going to talk about, well, it's about spiritualism, but more about the soul today. We all have a soul. And where is spiritualism going? It's at the moment on the earth plane, as you know, there's a lot of activity going on. There's a lot of changes going very, very quickly as well. Life has got a lot faster. I remember must be about 30 years ago, I was in this circle, and a lady was telling me about this trans circle she went to, and I'm going back, she's going back 30, so we're going to now roughly about 1950s. And this lady in trance, she said, the vibrations on the earth plane are going to get a lot faster. But when you look at it now, how fast life is as well. I think more to do with the computer as well. We've got the whole world in our hand, everything we want, you know, and I feel you could put this symbol on it, yin yang, you know, it's very positive, and also we have the dark web. It's just like this symbol, it's black and white, you know. So whatever we do in life, there's always these two aspects of it as well. But spiritualism at the moment, I think there's a lot of change in religion around the world and about politics as well. We can go into that a bit, but there's a change with people. A lot of people now are looking for where is the God power? And I know I went to Ireland about 8 years ago. Now, the first Pope went to Ireland, must have been about 30 years ago, roughly. And 95% of the people in Southern Ireland went to church, a very, very staunch, one of the staunch Catholic countries in the world. And I went about 8 years ago, when the last Pope was there, and it's down to 45%. So it's a big change in those 20 years. And then I was wondering what after being the fathers, the grandfathers, the great-grandfathers, the institution of the Catholic faith and religion, there must be a big change in the life, just automatically stopped going. And I was really interested in what the people are interested in now. And funny enough, there's quite a lot of mediums going on over there now. I've been, teaching mediumship and developing classes. A lot of people going back to the roots of the Celtic religions, shamanic religions. So there's a big change even in these very staunch Catholic countries. But I feel also around the world, as I said, there's a lot of changes about religion as well. And people are searching so much. One thing about the spiritualist church, they don't say go away and believe. They say come and join us, join the meditation class. And this is when you have the contact with the spirit world. It's nothing unusual about it, because every time we have a dream or we go to sleep, we do contact the spirit world. One of the first worlds we come to is called the astral world, and we know about people talking about astral traveling. It's a massive, very, very big world, and a great man called Bishop Leadbeater from the Theosophical Society, he was very, very deep in the spiritual philosophy, and he had a very big insight into these worlds. I know he talked about angels, he talked about energies, and he talked about the nature spirits. Now, I got involved in the nature spirits only through my art. And I'm trying to dress in a little bit here. Into me, but how I got involved in my art, I'll just tell this little story. When I first went to the spiritualist church, I joined the meditation class, and that's what I was talking about. It's wonderful just to sit in that quietness with a group of people. You can actually feel the energy building, and the contact with the spirit world gets a lot stronger. And I was going for about a year. I still go now if any meditation classes or meditate. I really enjoy going. And after about a year, I thought, no, instead of saying to somebody, I've got a flower, or I can see this, or this, actually draw it. So the person can go away and really visualize it, instead of thinking, well, I've got a nice message about a rose or the sea or the water. Actually look at a painting, see, and then they can go into the painting. And what happens then, I feel the meditation comes back to them, or the sitting or whatever. And so it's something you can look at on the wall, but there's an energy from this art as well. So I feel it's that healing energy as well. I know some of my paintings, and it's from the spirit world, are called healing paintings. It's more to do with visualization, but that's another story. But as I said, there's a big change in the world at the moment. I feel spiritualism has a very important part to play at the moment, you know. Some of the biggest problems on the earth plane now with people is mental problems, depression, anxieties, loss. The soul is really all connected with the soul as well. The soul's still asleep. We need the soul energy. We have this physical energy, which is, and the material energy, which is very important. We are living in a physical and material world, but also we are living in a spiritual world as well, you see. And we have a spiritual body here. And now a lot of people are forgetting about this. And this ends up in a way, not saying the prayers, not really getting interested anymore. And there seems to be like this gap between the person, the soul, and the spirit. Now, a lot of my art takes me into these realms as well. And a lot of times, even here, I think it was Wednesday, and I could see when I talked to some people, I know they've stopped praying, just the energy comes from them. I had a nice experience once, and it was in Germany. This is how this art helps you. And a lady came for a reading, and it's very difficult to get anything for her. And she didn't speak English, but it was like a blank wall. Anyway, I did the drawing for her, and I said to the translator, "Does she believe in God anymore?" She said, she asked me, she said, no, she was from Eastern Germany. Well, Eastern Germany really, it was frowned upon. Well, then the communist countries, it's stopped now, but it was frowned upon going to church or religions, but now it's more open in these communist countries. And I feel what's happened, her energy was just dull. Now, the same, a few days later, another lady came for the drawing. I mean, drawings, I mean, this is not one, but it was like, I always put the sky at the top and the earth at the bottom, or the water, whatever. But this lady who was drawing for, I was putting flowers in the top. And I thought, well, why am I putting flowers in the sky? It seemed sense, you know, no sense. And the voice said, she's made her own heaven, made her own garden of heaven on earth. And there was this drawing, and the face, it materialized. I didn't draw it, just materialized on the paper. It said, "I'm a father." Anyway, when I finished the drawing, the lady started, but she couldn't speak English. She said to the translator straight away, tell him I had to, I wanted to come today, but this week, because it was like 60 years, 70 years, whatever. My father was killed in the war. He was a German soldier. And he must have been about 6 or 7 years old then. And that age, she said, I'm going to pray for peace for the rest of my life. So for 70 years, that's all she's done, just praying for peace for the rest of her life. And that's why she's made her own garden in heaven, you see. It struck me really, in a way, I could have read 100 books and probably thought, does it happen? Is it possible? When you really experience these things, you realize how close the spirits are and how important prayers are and the energy we send out. We may send out positive thoughts. Whatever you send out in the universe comes back to us. But anyway, I feel there's a lot of opportunity now for spiritualism, because it is a wonderful religion. It's about the soul. It's about understanding. When we have this balance with the material and the spiritual, it does really help us through life, because life is very complicated. I know there's another story when my father died. I was very upset. I went in spiritualism then, but it took some time to get over. Anyway, it was years later I got involved in spiritualism. Now, when my mother died, it was about 10, 15 years after my father. And I was in Germany at the time, and my mother was in an old people's home in England, and I was in bed. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. I was in Germany, and I could see my mother in the room, and she just stood there like this. She said, "Colin, it's all over now. It's all over." And she was like exhausted, saying, "I've had enough." Saying, "I want to go." And that was that was her message to me. I know she was still here. I know she's not passed over. She must have been in the astral dimensions, you see, and I must have been in that dimension because I was half asleep and half awake. So I must have been in the astral world watching her when she was talking to me. About a week later, went back home, and there she was in the elders' home, the old people's home. And mine was going. She was, really. It was time for her to go. Really, and I know it wasn't long before she. Anyways, 3 or 4 days later, she passed over. But I was very happy for her in a way. I had no, in a way, she wanted to be over there. She wanted to be with my father. And I feel it's that understanding about life and death, I could just let her go. And yet I was much closer to my mother. I know now and again it's sensing she comes round as well. But that's the understanding, that's the power, isn't it? The power of understanding about life and death. And that's what spiritualism does give us, And that's one part of it, but there's another part about spiritualism. We all have the opportunity, everyone in this room, everyone in the country, everyone in the world, we all have spiritual gifts. I feel they're just inside, laying dormant, and we need to bring them out, But sometimes as human beings, we're terrible. We always put obstacles in our way, and we think, oh, we're not good enough. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. And that's the worst thing we do. We just seem to do that automatically, And someone said, like, artists, at the end of their lives, it's more just flopping the paint on them. They're not going into detail. They're just letting go. And it's really letting go of this mind here, the conscious mind. We have two minds here. We have a conscious mind thinking about the material life, which is very important. And when we go to sleep, if we're still thinking here, we can't sleep. We have to, when we will actually fall asleep, we go to the subconscious mind. And this is where the spirit is. This is when we have our dreams, And this is the mind I'm more interested. And I feel this part of the mind connects with the soul. Now, only through my art, I'm more aware of the soul. I want to understand it a little bit more. I mean, it's like the biggest mystery to man. What's the soul? Where is it? But we all have one. Your soul, as I feel, is connected with our spiritual gifts. Also, it's connected with the inspiration. In a way, if you go back in history, look at some of the great musicians. Beethoven was one. He was dead, as we know, but he was in his house saying, who's playing this music? He's running around. Nobody could hear it, only him. What did he do? He sat down and started writing the music down. Where did it come from? He's channeling it really from the spirit world. He finished the music. It's still popular even today because it's from the spirit. It's not from here, and he's just channeled it down. And we can go to the the present days as well. Going to Lord of the Rings, trilogy of books, films, fascinating. It talks very much about the astral world. And what does it talk about? About the nature spirits. And then we got the latest phenomenon, didn't we? About 5-10 years ago, Harry Potter books. Again, a phenomena. Have you wondered why it's so popular with children around the world, that book? Have you ever thought why? Because really it's the two books talk about things, and both talk about dragons, they both talk about the nature, they talk about fairy world, they're talking about this other world. But what they're talking about it's a part of us as well, because we have an astral body. When we fall asleep, we go into the astral world, you see. So really it's talking about the soul, these books. I feel like a lot of children, a lot of even people, they do see the fairy world, but they don't recognize they do see it, you see. But it is a world of inspiration, you know, and it connects with the angel world. And there's many worlds that surround us, and worlds where there's, you could say, archangels and the Buddhas. There's so many. It's up to ourselves if we want to connect into these worlds. Excuse me, I have to drink water. Mm. We can all have the opportunity. We all have the opportunity to join, to link into these worlds, you know. And when we do link into it, now I feel art, especially art, it does really help us go into our inspiration. And I said the inspiration is in the soul. And this is when you listen to maybe some music from hundreds of years ago, or read a book like Charles Dickens, still popular today, or another book, Alice in Wonderland, you see, people who've been in a different stage of consciousness is talking about that world. But they're still very popular books, you see, and films been made up of them. But really they're talking about a part of us as well, part of the soul's journey as well. We all have these connections to these worlds, and we, as I said, we all have inspirations within ourselves. And this is what I try to teach in the workshops, you know, because if you said to somebody, sit here for 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 7, 10 hours, and meditate, you find it difficult. Really, half an hour, 10 minutes, and I've ever not, maybe. When you're doing this art, you get really slowly, you start moving into these different realms. And that's how I started seeing the fairy world and the elemental world. And then I wanted to know, why am I seeing these worlds and what is their purpose in evolution? And that sent me on another pathway. I read a book from a man called Bishop Leadbeater from the Theosophical Society. And I know he did have a contact with this world from his books, because I read some books about nature, spirits. I think I'm not with it. I don't feel it. I'm not really convinced that person who's wrote the book is stole the information from other books anyway, but then that's another thing. So I joined the Theosophical Society, hoping to find out more. But the lady who started the organization, Madame Blavatsky, she said, in a way, you don't have to meditate, just read my books. Well, I can't go along with that, really, because really we got to find out ourselves, you know. It's okay seeing it in a book, but really you need it to know yourself. And the people are very nice and very interesting people and very knowledgeable people. But in the end, most of the information what I'm talking about is to come from my meditations, from experiences. And you have one thing about once you get into spiritualism, you'll have some wonderful experiences, you know, spiritual experiences as well. And these, as I said, these worlds and the angel world, they're there to help us. It's up to us to contact them. I was looking at that painting over there, the photo of Mother Teresa. I met a lady in Switzerland. And she went, when she was alive, she went over there a few times to work at this hospice where she was. And I was very interested. I said, what was she like, and what happened there? And it changed her thinking quite a lot. And she said, once there was short of food. There was short of some food and needed something for the community. So Mother Teresa, they said, right, we've all got to start praying. She thought, well, this is not going to work. I mean, what, the food now? What if we start praying? people want the food to eat today, not next week. But anyway, she said, everyone start to pray. We've got to get some food, you know. And about 3 hours later, a wagon came down with some food. So it really puts a mind to thinking, does it work? Does the prayer work? Or does it, what happened there? So she thought, well, she'll have an experiment. So as she's walking down the street, she thought, I'm going to ask somebody, ask the spirit world, put the thought out. I want to know where the hospital, she was going to the hospital, but I want to know where the hospital is. I need someone to tell me which way to go. And she said, thing about India, oh, it's very nice, she said, but if you say to somebody, where's the hospital? And they don't know, instead of saying they don't know, they'll point this direction. The hospital might be in that direction, but the thing you're doing you a favour by putting the wrong way, you know, but they just don't like to say no. So that's why she didn't ask anybody. So she put this thought out, where's the hospital? And she said, this man passed her on a motorbike, stopped, he come round, he said, you want something from me, don't you? He gave her a shot because it really, how did it happen, you know? But and I feel these thoughts go up to the angel world, the spiritual world, and then come back, and then this is how this man connected with her. So thoughts and prayers are very, very important as well. We don't have to go on our knees, we can do, but I think it's the thoughts as we go through life. Now, one of my cards is called, I postcards, one of my cards is called The Power of Prayer. And how I came to that, it was quite interesting, really. I was at church once. I've only been going to a few years at the church, and I was doing a meditation. You know, we do the meditation in the group. And Sunday morning, we used to meet in the church, have go in a little room, and first of all we have a talk, and then have a drink of tea, and then anyone could arrive at the meditation. It was just open for anybody, and then we go in the room and meditate. Anyway, I was taking the meditation, and even now in all my workshops, I will start with the meditation. I look at the people and then get a picture from each one. And this old man, he was walking, I'd never seen him before. He looked like a farmer. He had a big pair of old boots, a very old jacket, his collar's up here. I thought, oh, he's probably come for a cup of tea, yes, you know. Anyway, we went in the meditation room, we meditated, and when I looked at him, I could see a big fire around him. And in this fire was a pyramid. I thought, well, they're telling me, the spirit world is a very powerful medium. And this is a picture I could see here. I looked at him again, I thought, no, he's only, don't be silly, Colin, he's come for a cup of tea, you know. Anyway, I went round them all. As soon as we finished, I pulled them, brought everyone back, and straight away started speaking. He said, oh, I'll come to you. He said, there's a dog next to you waggling its tail. His name's Sandy. And we did have a dog called Sandy a long time ago. So he was this medium, you know. And what it was as well, at me, once the medium didn't turn up, and he was in the church, and they asked him to do the service. And he's still dressed, you know, with his old jacket, his big boots. And he just stood there and started saying this prayer. Well, I've never heard a prayer like it. He was just talking. But it was like he could listen to the prayer. He didn't need any more. He didn't even need any clear voice. The way the words came out, it must have touched the spirit world somehow. And then that got me thinking, what does a prayer look like? I never thought of this before, but I think the art makes you think differently like it. There must be a picture, there must be some energy. And another man, Gordon Egerton, he was one of the greatest mediums in England. He was doing a talk, and he was talking about prayers. And he said, when I say, we say, when I say my prayers, I talk to my God like I'm talking to you, you see. And then the thoughts came again about prayers. So I was thinking, what does a prayer look like? So what I did in my card, it's over there anyway, I should have brought, I drew a lotus flower and a pair of praying hands coming out of it, and a fairy above the hands. I felt the fairies to do with the gentle energy, and the angels either side to listen to the prayer. A lot of orange and red, I felt the power there. But what it is, I feel also, how do we say the prayer? Going out Fred, I don't think that will go anywhere. You know, if someone you love or a child's sick, I mean, that's a different kind of prayer, isn't it? You're going really into your soul energy then, you see. And I feel this energy then, like what's happened in the story about Mother Teresa, it is listened to by the spirit world. And again, you've got things like, they say karma as well, you know. And I mean, it's not so straightforward as you think. We say a prayer, and if it is to be, the miracles still happen and still happening today, you see. So it brings you a lot of thoughts, especially this artwork. It leads me into different realms of consciousness, you know, and different experiences with the spirit world. And it's something we all should be aware of about our soul and our soul's development, you know, because when it's part of us and we can have that balance, it does really help us with life to have this balance of the material world and the spiritual world. Because, as I said, life is getting complicated, and more so these days. And I feel the biggest problem, people's souls are not going to church, they're not interested about religion, but it's not the religion, it's something to do with themselves. They just haven't lost that contact with the spirit, with everything really. And also, we are living in a very fast vibration, and the food we eat, it's not the best, is it? You know, fast foods, what does it say for itself, you know? And this is causing more problems as well. So we are living in a world of change. As I think it's a Chinese philosopher said once, may you never be born in interesting times. But we are living in very interesting times. Such everything's so fast happening, you know. I suppose this corona, look, it's gone now. That's changed people's thinking such a lot. And it's really shocked the whole world up as well about thinking. And even today, there's a lot of talks, positive and negative about it, you know, yes and no. So that's just one aspect. But now there's the aspect, another things about material wealth of the world, the politics of the world, and also the spiritual part of the world. And as I said, there's a lot of people at the moment are looking for more into spiritual directions if they can find it. In England, we used to say spiritualism is one of the best kept secrets, and it is really. Some people don't even know what a spiritualist church is. It's a pity, because really, it's no dogma in the churches. It's really developing the soul within inside ourselves, having this contact with the spirit world. And it is really a wonderful experience. And then, as I said, I feel everything to do with the arts or inspiration, it does connect with the soul. And this is why we can listen to some beautiful music and turn to tears, or read a book, turn to tears, or get goosebumps, look at a painting, feel something different. It's an energy coming from all these parts. What part of the body is it touching? What's bringing these emotions on? Why is a picture or a music making all this different emotions? It's touched the soul. And this is what we should have a better understanding of. Not many people talk about it. We all talk, well, we all say the soul, but what is it? Where is it? What it's about? We all have one. And it's up to us, and it's really this one of the best religions for understanding ourselves more is spiritualism. And it allows us to go a little bit deeper into ourselves and the spirit world. I'm just about coming to the end now. I've said enough now, I'm going back to England. But, I hope you've enjoyed the talk. I've enjoyed being here anyway. But if you do get the opportunity to join a meditation class, try to think about it as well. And I'll be doing a workshop today, and I'll be talking about spiritual bubbles today in the workshop. Subject I got into only through my art. And if I talk about it now, the people won't come to my workshop, you see. So, no, I'm only joking. So, I thank you all anyway. So, it's
Well, thank you, Colin. We really enjoyed your perspective on the spiritual world, and it's always nice to get people coming from other countries because we have different cultural knowledge that we are able to draw into it, and it's
exactly, yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have our service beginning at 10:30. And we hope that all of you are return and enjoy the rest of our program here. And there will be also a renewal of vows. So come back, enjoy yourself, go for a walk if you like, and we'll be starting at 10:30 promptly.
Was it questions and answers?
Well,
yeah.
Well, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was.
We have 10 minutes or so for questions and answers.
Yeah, questions and answers. That's enough. Thank you. Okay. Yes. That's good, girl.
See, culturally between the British and us in terms of spiritualism. The biggest differences between the British and the
Oh, right, okay. It's very similar, really, very similar in a way. I found it we don't have message circles, we have open circles. Just a few little things, but nothing really big, you know. I feel also I do talk a lot about the angels. Some churches don't like me talking about the angels in England. Some people say, yes, please tell us more about them, you see, and experiences. And so they are very similar. And it's really, we're very lucky, really, England and on a lot of the countries around, like who have Australia has spiritual churches, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada here. And it's a pity, like, I go to Switzerland a lot. There's no churches there, yet the people are very interested in wanted to develop the gifts and very interested in spiritualism. A lot of them go to fly into Stansted, it's a spiritual college in England, from all over Europe. I've been going to Switzerland maybe about 25 years doing workshops and demonstrations, but I said there's no churches, but the people, I feel a bit sorry for them in a way, because they all want to, you know, to stand up here, you need a lot of experience, really, and the confidence to stand up here as well, and the experience. these churches give you the possibility with the experience of joining or the groups and standing here and communicating, and so we in a way we are looking, we're really looking to have a religion like this as well, but anyway, thank you. Yes.
Like, what do you see? The process of your art and the connection spiritually when you see someone.
Yeah.
How
Right. Well, it's the art itself goes back hundreds of years now, thousands of years really. And it's the name for this art. You could call it psychic art, inspirational art, spiritual art. There's a few names for it. And if you go on the website, you look for a man called William Blake. He was from the 17th century, and he used to draw very much to do with the fairies, the elementals, angel world. He was a poet, a mystic. So it goes back in some time. But I feel, to me, it really, I feel it just touching to your own inspiration and art, especially when you get into to me, it's like I'm going into a few days of doing it. I feel like I'm going into different worlds, you see. And but also I'm going into these worlds, but I'm going deeper in here as well, and an understanding of these worlds that surround us as well, and it's not just one world, there's many worlds, and worlds of healing as well, Does that answer your question? What else did maybe? Yeah, I see what's happened with me, right? What's happened with me? Either I'll have a meditation and I see a picture and draw it, or I'll just go to the board and start drawing, and the picture starts coming on that. So it's just flowing, And I notice through wherever I am, after a few days, I'm more into my subconscious mind, you see. I'm more flowing, it's just coming. And if I do, sometimes I do a demonstration, excuse me, a demonstration, and I have the flip chart here. In the service of probably do about 8 paintings for people in the audience, and I have to work very fast to do, because I can't just do one. Try to do as many as I can, But a lot of people get drawn into the art, I did a special not so long ago in Wales, and the service started at 7:30, and I thought, well, I start at 7 o'clock. As soon as people come through that door, I'm going to draw. They didn't tell them I was going to draw for them, but I see a picture. When I see the picture, I'll go to the flip chart and start drawing. So I've got 2 or 3 pictures ready before the service starts, so I can do as many as I can, you see. And I was just drawing. I was aware of the time, and it got to like 25 to. And I was still back to the picture drawing here. So I couldn't really see people coming in. I know they was coming in, but when I turned round, the place was full. You could have heard a pin drop. And when I thought, they're not looking at me, they're all looking at the painting, I thought, that's cheeky. What about Colin? Eh? What about Colin, So, yeah, so it's, that's it. Sometimes it's just, as I'm working, it's just letting it flow all the time, you see, And, yeah. You'll have to come to the workshop. Next one. Any more questions? Yeah.
I was just wondering, in all the rest of the world, like here in America, I've been in media for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's better now, but I still come up with people who say, oh, you're a devil worshiper.
Oh.
Is it all of them?
No, I think it's a lot of places. It used to be very strong in England, that as well. And Ireland, it was impossible for a medium to go 20 years ago. And if someone found out they were seeing a medium, and the priest found out, the hell on, really, it was really forbidden. They had that much power, this is the religion, just Catholic, and that's it. Now it has changed a lot in Ireland. You know, it would have been impossible for the people have to workshops over there, but it's really open. So this it's terrible, really. What, you know, the way the church, you know, I mean, going back hundreds of years ago, even here, burning witches are only burning people who were healers and clairvoyants because they had more power than the church, but they didn't want that power, so they just. But it has changed a very lot as well, you know, especially in England. There's a big change in a lot of churches just empty now in England, you know, normal churches. So there's a big change there as well, you know. Any more questions?
But we got the sign that the time is up.
Oh, can I tell you a little story before?
Oh, quickly.
A quick story here. No, when I arrived here, I think it was Sunday, you know, and I went to that house on the top of the hill. That's where I'm staying. And when I looked at it, I thought, I've been here before. Oh, well, I've seen this before somewhere, you know. Anyway, I went in the house and they showed me around the house. And they said, well, you lock the door and you're here by yourself. I thought, no maid. And it doesn't matter that. So, and downstairs was downstairs. The bathroom is next to the cellar. And then I thought, I don't know where I've seen this house. It was in Cycle. I thought they put me in the house for a cycle. Well, I know Diane Jackson brought me down. I thought, shall I ring her up and ask her to look in the cellar for me, you know? And then if any problems, I can lock it down there with cycle, you know. Well, I got it, yeah, but anyway, luckily it wasn't in this area, so I'm okay. I thought, oh, Diane will sort him out anyway, you know. And I had to do the workshop, you see. So I could go down the cellar. Anyway, so here we go.
Thanks again. And the service will be starting in just about 15 minutes. So. Yeah. Too late now. We'll be able to bring it up.
Yeah.